Hello, I'm Joseph Deere, and this is my presentation for the standards for um, geometry for kindergarten through sixth grade, with attention to how they develop and evolve. So to start with, the kids in kindergarten are simply supposed to learn to identify and describe the shapes, different shapes. And correctly name the shapes, model the shapes, and create the shapes. And here they are using their bodies lined up in order to create a square or a rectangle. Perfect example of learning how to create shapes. So in geometry in grade 1, they begin to reason with the shapes and their attributes. And so, for example, they are supposed to distinguish between defining attributes and non-defining attributes. So, of course, they learn that a triangle has three sides, and that defines a triangle. And therefore, the other attributes, such as the color or the size or the angle, those attributes vary, but they don't define the shape. So in grade 2, the kids recognize and draw shapes having specified attributes. So they learn to identify different kinds of shapes that are a little more complex, such as triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagons, hexagons, and cubes. So also getting into 3D shapes as well as 2D. And grade 3, the kids are supposed to be able to understand that shapes in different categories may have the same attributes. So rhombuses and rectangles and squares all have 4 sides. I don't think I ever mastered what a rhombus is. Exactly. The vocabulary was always tricky for me. So it's good that they can have this structure to really pin down some of these more esoteric terms. And so by grade 4, they are supposed to draw and identify lines and angles, classify shapes by properties of their lines and angles, draw points, lines, line segments, rays, angles, and perpendicular and parallel lines. So this is just a lot of more complex terminology and clearly more advanced, getting into more advanced aspects of shapes. And by grade 5, they're starting to work on graphs, graphing points on the coordinate plane to solve real-world and mathematical problems, such as, maybe plotting data from surveys or statistics. Things that are happening in the real world can be represented. So this is a big step for kids, from learning what the shapes are to actually using their knowledge of the shapes to create real world solutions. And so by 6th grade, they are solving real world mathematical problems. They can find the area of right triangles and other angles, special quadrilaterals and polygons by composing into rectangles or decomposing into triangles and other shapes. So learning how to manipulate and move the shapes around to create new shapes, to compound shapes, or like it said, deconstruct, break them down, starting to learn sort of more complex aspects of triangles, getting into trigonometry. So anyway, as we see, the progression for the kids from kindergarten through grade 6 is a smooth progression that gets more and more advanced with each year, and the expectations are higher. So this looks like a great system, and I look forward to teaching it to students. Thank you.